build into caltrops, get cash deposits. I'm going to pick Chrono Barrier over the Atomic Clock. Tends to be a better item. Atomic Clock without ammo isn't very good disruption. It also doesn't do anything for the first cycle. Or Chrono Barrier is 2 seconds across their entire board, and it works for the first cycle. Usually when you're playing Atomic Clock, you want to be using it when it's speeding up your combo. Like the game before, we used Atomic Clock in Righty Tighty as a 1 second trigger for our slow when we use our rightmost to get our power drill loop going. In boards like that, Atomic Clock is great when it's doing multiple things. When you're just using it for disruption, it tends to be kind of bad. Unless you can get a bunch of ammo on it, but it can be tough to get a bunch of ammo on it. Nice club/fort shenanigans. I think I have run into one fort board this entire patch. I feel like I should see it more, but I never got it together in the couple of games that I played as Pig. And I almost never see opponents have it together. A big problem with it, too, is like if you've got a big Regal Blade and you want to go fort, if you have ever used an Insect Wing on your Regal Blade, you can't fort with it.
Take your time. I'm pretty laid back. Oh, I think you're really gonna enjoy that.
Well, then you've got to commit to getting Lethargy, but sure. Sure.
Don't let my youth worry you. The guys who trained me were very old.
That's really funny. I do have Ignition Core. They also are showing up in the right order for the maximum aesthetics. Going for power drill angle, it is impossible to know right now. It's something that I want to be open to.
Snufu always talks about. You've learned all you can from me. See Argenta. She's wonderful.
My dreams are too big for you to steal. I believed in myself and I still lost.
Yeah, power drill is much faster than you would think it is. It does need a lot of pieces, though. Knife Tricks becomes Old Dagger. Well, the activation still has an internal cooldown. Like, it ends up being that Knife Tricks doesn't matter that much. Like, I think we had a Knife Tricks in our first run tonight, and it didn't really change the speed of our power drill at all. Because all of our charges were coming from different sources. Yeah, we also had Retooled, which helped a lot more than Knife Tricks. No, multi-strike is on the same internal cooldown. Frame rate is smoother on Twitch. Oh, is it a frame rate thing too? Yeah, I don't know. The YouTube stream goes in and out of the stream is healthy and error YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. We take item here, because loot item's not giving extra gold. Subbed on YouTube like a good follower. I'm glad. Let's see.
Now this is health food.
Spins up shield. We'll try to take a fight. I have not fought Warrior since it was nerfed. This fight's easy now, right? Should be shielded Armadillo. The odds of that are so low. Why would you play towards that? When you can go Mountain Pass. Bazaar Discord having 100k users seems like a lot. I don't know. I don't know what Discord sizes are for games. Yeah, that puts it in perspective. That's cool. Are we beating a Blastoise on day 2? Yes. Cool. How was Blastoise here? I don't think it mattered, but could have been positioned a little better. So I think we just upgrade the ignition core. I know we have this package, but we still don't have the Alpha Ray, and this is probably a more consistent damage source.
Send me your huge items. Price? Don't care. On behalf of the Grand Society of blah blah blah, bye! Not very big though, is it?
Just keep pushing XP. Cutlass would be okay, but just want to get to level 10 as fast as possible. Such a huge power spike for Dually.
If I don't have what you need, I
Try
hope
to
you
get the
find
drill
who
here.
does. Just toss that on my back, and I'll trot it to your door.
It's a solid
Every
25
item
FPS.
finds its buyer. It's a relationship, you know?
You do see these tusks, right?
Nice. Yeah, Microdave's been nerfed. He only ever has charge 1.
Well,
A lot of those items that got scaling charge no longer have scaling charge.
Oh, sure. I can help you, but you have to trust me. When you're ready, I'll send you to Orion.
Sure.
But I'll keep you as long as I can.
It's still a temporary board, but... Eh. If I had more gold, maybe. Ooh. Speaking of more gold... I kind of like the current LEDs. It's not as oppressive with the slow, but now it's kind of more of an engine piece. Because it gets actually faster as you use the core.
Snuffed out! Extinguished!
Who needs Alpha Ray when you've got sharp corners? $100K Discord users places Bazaar in barely the 99th percentile. Upper bound of 99th is 500K. Huh. Cool.
I'm a people person, and sometimes I sell stuff.
Buying a bronze battery on day 4.
Do you have to leave already? So, how about this weather where... Oh, you're leaving.
Probably going to be cutting the welding helmets for 2 smalls. I could play laser pistol. I don't see any pylons dispatch. We think it's decent. The problem with pylons is it's just so big. It's so hard to justify putting a large item on your dually board, especially if it's not directly a win condition, but... it does solve the haste problem. It is a lot worse with the LEDs being what they are now, too. Okay. Close. But we got him. Weapon board beat a day 4 barrel. Thank you, sharp corners. Gonna continue mountain passing. Just turbo XP.
Defeated nothing. I am eternal.
Maybe we get to upgrade here. Just the core again. YouTube watcher per month. Content really helped you get better at the game. Also, just realized the music isn't played in YouTube videos. Yeah. I gotta cut out the music for YouTube. I used to have some background music specifically for YouTube that I edited back in after, but even that, the stuff that was supposedly safe for YouTube eventually got copyright claimed over time, and it's just too much of a headache to try to maintain a playlist that is YouTube safe.
My food is gonna make you
It's a
unstoppable.
little bit too good here. Infernal Greatsword had a moment there. Yeah, I liked Infernal Greatsword a lot in the... I had like 3 perfect victories with Infernal Greatsword, the Monitor Lizard patch, when loot items were more common. I do kind of miss loot items being more common.
I could use a strong arm like yours.
They were nice for just getting incremental upgrades to your board.
Experience is treasure. I will share.
It's day 5, Nufu.
You must first get your data.
I won battles without ever striking a blow. Just waited for them to collapse.
Maybe I just have that.
First principle of shield mastery.
I don't know.
Always have one.
Not every opponent uses enough weapons. That might be wrong. I would like a metronome.
I'm so fast, I'm living in your future. No, I won't tell you what happens.
Turbo welding helmet. 1 second of haste. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I want to cut the pistol. If I get like a curio, it's nice. I feel like by the time that I'm likely to see a rocket boots, though, I'm not going to want anything to do with this. Undefeated Vanessa. I'm not sure what that means. Probably barrel?
Go ahead. Underestimate me. It makes this more fun.
Nope. Langshan. Even scarier. Ready Blue and see what contributed to how right did I... Was it Chops last patch? Yeah, for sure. For sure. Huh.
You've got talent. You should put it toward nobler use.
Not bad. Yeah, like I like the pattern of like you get a board together and then you try to make it better. Pivots in this game are usually really scuffed when you're full pivoting. It is nice to at least have the ability to lock in some items. That's part of what I like about a lot of these dually boards. Like, you can just play the pulse rifle forever. I would like an alpha ray. There's not much scam in this game. Depends what you mean by scam. It got better this patch. There was a lot of, like, rock, paper, scissors, cheese last patch with shield bash and rapid thaw. There's interaction in the game, and if scam is interaction, there's freeze, there's slow, there's stuff like atomic clock, chrono barrier, fort.
My battle days are over, but my weapons, use it well. Make me proud.
At least the most solid of the characters available. Yeah. Do you have the drill ready? True. Crypto does scam you every time. That double double icicled like deadly crow's nest flurry blows cutlass. Sick. Let's try Battlegrounds. Get sick of every late game being, did I get the nuts? No, then just let your whole board for Leroy's and Poisonous. I don't know. I never hated that pattern in Battlegrounds or Storybook Brawl. A lot of that has to do with lobbies too, right? It's not just did I get the nuts, it's did my opponents get more of the nuts than I did. It wouldn't make a lot of sense in async, but I like that play pattern in lobby games. Because it's not just a function of how strong your board is, it's how strong your board is in relation to the rest of the lobby. Right here it would be like, how strong is your board relative to the overall metagame, which is... eh. A lot less dynamic. Bits for in the Bazaar past unlocking characters. Ranked entries. Oh, Infernal's a day 6 fight. I didn't realize we beat the hard day 6 fight on day 5. That's funny. Yeah, async is really weird. I feel like a lot of things that work in real-time games don't necessarily work in async, and a lot of things that don't work in real-time games do work in async.
This is but a spark.
It really feels like a completely different dynamic. Like, I enjoy playing lobby-based auto-battlers in a competitive setting. But I can't imagine wanting to grind an async ladder. That just sounds like such a rat race.
We've barely scratched the surface of the Outlands. That belongs in a museum, but I guess you can keep it.
But like the system of like earning collectibles to play as you go, it's kind of cool. It gives you some reason to feel invested, even if that reason isn't like what your rank is. Get able to pause to take a break. Yeah, there's definitely just like straight up positives that come along with it. But you lose the player interaction, which is, I think, it's a big what draws me to these sorts of games competitively. Like, just trying to be as strong as I can be against some ethereal metagame is a lot less interesting than trying to make my board stronger than the 7 other players in the lobby. Someone's the nuts in the lobby, you see them one fight, go, holy shit, what the fuck, and they're gone. You're locked in there with Satan's board. Yeah, but like at least you know, and you can make decisions based on that. You can play for high rolls rather than play for consistent strats when you know you have to high roll in order to win. What happened to SBB? It got caught up in the FTX bankruptcy and died.
People first, profit 10.
399 was live async until the last few rounds. Yeah, kinda.
Now, if that doesn't work,
You can see the similarities.
I get it. You're busy. Enjoy your purchase.
Like, I was skeptical of not having good matchmaking in games like this, like skill-based matchmaking in games like this, until I played Backpack Battles. And I felt like there being matchmaking in Backpack Battles made that game so much less fun.
Happy to make a sale. Sad to say goodbye.
Hastes. Be fast now. The game with the FTX crypto stuff. It was the game that was purchased by FTX. It never had any crypto stuff, but ranking should be more strict on ranked. I think I disagree with that. I'm pretty sure I disagree with that. If the purpose of ranked is for earning cosmetics, I think just throwing everyone in the same pool is totally fine. It depends what you think the purpose of ranked is. I don't know, even if you care about like leaderboard position, just like being more consistent into whatever the meta is being the goal. Seems fine. Like being able to judge how weak you can afford to make your board tends to be a lot more interesting. Where like when you have skill-based matchmaking, you tend to just be forced to be as strong as possible at every hour. Because everyone else is doing that. And if you don't, you just die. There's no interaction between players, so it's not like you know someone's high rolling and you have to high roll, or a couple people in the lobby are struggling, so you can either push your advantage or like try to play for late game more. Which is good. Matchmaking encourages smurfing. Yeah, and like smurfing would be extra bad if the goal of ranked is to unlock cosmetics for the marketplace. If there's ever like a tournament mode or like a real-time lobby mode, I would be down for having good matchmaking for that. But after playing backpack battles, I legitimately much prefer this system of just throw everyone in the pool and see what comes out. It's also really weird because like you end up having to rank check people when they say a build is good, because the game at Diamond is like fundamentally different from the game at Legend. There's just things that you can't get away with at higher ranks that work in lower ranks. Whereas, like, at least here, everyone is playing the same game.
I would never debase my wares by haggling. Ugh.
More in the vein, you'll get to fight boards that have a similar win-loss ratio instead of yours. I don't think that makes a whole lot of sense, just because of the way power curves tend to work. Like, just because you started out 0-3 doesn't mean you're not insanely strong on day 4. Like, you could be 0-3 because you're playing for a power spike. Like, you could just be missing your pufferfish in your first couple days, and then you find your pufferfish, and suddenly you're really strong. Just because you have losses doesn't mean you're weak. Sometimes it can be even be the opposite. Like, you're playing towards a high roll board, so you have some losses.
If you want cheap junk, go see Curio.
I wouldn't hate it if they matched it based on win-loss ratio, but I don't think it adds that much to the game. I don't think the game would be better one way or the other necessarily.
Look! I'm sorry, okay?
Hey, Nick Tesla. Can I just play this board forever? Do I ever need to pivot? Maybe courage is slow roll for the perfect build. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, kind of, because like other people would be doing the same thing, and then if you're going undefeated, you're not going to run into the people that have a perfect build. Like, there's incentives both ways, but I don't know if any of those incentives make the game better. Already level 10. Let's try to get bonk.
And nobody gets hurt.
Yeah, it is nice that, like, even at high ranks, you can meme around a bit and still have success. Because you don't need to be playing super powerful boards constantly, because the matchmaking pool is loose. Where, like, in backpack battles, if you stumble at the high ranks, you're dead. Like, your run is over. You are going to have a bad time. If you deviate too far from the plan and try to do something funny, you're not going to be doing something funny for very long, because your run is going to be over soon. Fish for crescendo?
Now, I won't tell you the weakness. That's for me to sell to your enemies. That's one dangerous knowledge. Use it wisely.
Oh, come on then. Let's get this over with. I've got 4 legs because I carry this company.
The Ataria? The Dunes? Where shall we start?
I think I care about combat core. It's an atomic clock. One more. An icy light bulb.
That looks like the Cretaceous era?
So I drill, which is basically weather glass adjacent. Honestly, to you, Dooley is boring this meta. I don't know. I think Dooley's early game is really boring. I feel like his late games come together in pretty wacky ways sometimes. I feel like Dooley has the most late game variety, weirdly. Where it seems like all of Vanessa's good builds converge into either like some puffer board, maybe some tread board, or some silencer board. Pig's boards converge into like fort or caltrops. Dooley, I've had sometimes you just like stay in your early game comp ball game, but when you don't, you do like atomic clock shenanigans. You can play the Mamasaur. You can do a bunch of power drill stuff. And some of these power drill boards, getting those engines together is going to be different every time because of how reliant it is on different enchants. There's force field.
I may be young for a captain, but I've seen my share of storms.
Yeah, there's not very many dinos. They're just staying pure weapons or staying pure burn is probably the most common, but there's a lot of things that work.
Like my crew says at the bar, another round.
Even just like the way full weapons scales into the late game tends to be different every time. If you don't 10-0 with burn, finding a way to make that comp scale can be tricky too. Dooley's got a bunch of different options to interact with the opponent's board between Chrono Barrier, Atomic Clock, Freezes. How many slow items do you want to play?
Size dilutes the brain. Mind is highly concentrated. Whoever said money can't buy class had neither.
You have great potential. Let me train.
I don't know, I feel like Poison just kind of is an early game mechanic. It's okay early on Dooley. It falls off a bit faster than Puffer does, but like Puffer falls off too most of the time. Like Dooley works much worse with monster items. I agree with that, yeah. Dooley's cards tend to be fairly parasitic. They all want each other. A lot of the monster loot items tend to be slow items too, and Dooley usually just wants to play the fastest items he can. Because fast items give you core speed, and core speed gives you everything.
As long as you draw breath, your training is not complete.
I agree that's a little unfortunate, but I don't know. There's a bunch of ways to combine the items in his pool. I just want to sell any of this. I feel like all of it may end up being good. How long have we had that cove? It was only at 15 value. Yeah, Yeah, it's like every time I see the Street Festival event on Vanessa, there's usually something cool I can get. Every time I see it on Dually, it's like, I could get marbles. Sometimes. Gloves are nice from the cook. I don't think they're worth the space.
Try your luck. You can't lose.
Also has funky free stuff and enchanted hogwash builds. Okay, I'm unaware of what enchanted hogwash does. Oh, like when you heal triggers. Yeah, the free stuff is like, sometimes you get wacky builds with enchants that work.
Drum roll, please.
Wait, do I get all of these or do I get one? I didn't read. Oh my god. Hattie, my hero. Pulse rifle speed is also core speed.
You should know, I'm a bit of a legend on Pelago.
Never seen the wheel be optimal? I think the wheel is like one of the best events. I don't know what you mean.
Next time, boys, less blood.
Beat the chicken.
More plunder.
Beat the chicken. Yeah, 20 gold is bad. It can get you a random diamond skill. It can get you the hat, which is, what, like 8 gold and an item upgrade? Yeah, enchanted item, which is a bunch of gold. You're usually looking for the hat. But, I mean, there's high rolls everywhere. Apparently it can give you 3 loot, too. I had no idea. Want you to fight? He might have. He might have. It would have been a tie if we didn't have the regen, right? Which is still a win. Am I ever playing this Chrono Barrier? God damn it. I guess I could drop these. Just take a peek at this.
A customer.
Oh. Maybe? Of all of the items to not scale the shield, flamethrower? It's okay for it to scale burn and poison, but shield. Shield's a level too far. I don't think the sharp corners is enough for it. So do we just take skill?
I will not train you to kill. I will train you to live.
Core haste is nice.
I have seen such talent once before.
Especially with the Chrono Barrier in play. Core is a bit slower than it would otherwise be. So So Dillo for Aiden Bulb. I don't know. We have the duct tape for the Dillo. Like hasted pulse rifle duct tape has this trigger pretty fast with the sharp corners. I would lose 4 skills too. What skills do I lose? I can see what it looks like in the PvE fight. Yeah, the hasty light bulb is good, but I think I'd rather play the Dillo. It's more core speed. Is that bulb over Uzi? It could be. I do really value the core speed. It's just because this is shielded. If this wasn't shielded... Oh. Okay, we're definitely playing light bulb now. Whee!
I did not seek this power for my own gain, you know. I seek it to share it.
How close are we to playing the drill? We have turbo on the core. We have a haste here, a freeze here. We have to move the duct tape over.
Ah, I see you've already met. Orin had a saying, power is wisdom.
No Metro, no skills. Yeah, I don't know if I play it yet. I can try it in the PvE fight. Not even close. Does it mean any friend? It shows you 3 friends and you get to pick one of them. Yeah, the pulse rifle is big. The pulse rifle gets a lot of scaling through sharp corners. The reason to cut it is eventually the power drill will eventually be faster. Tech items would have charged it faster than the garbage they had. I just look at their board again. I thought they were playing a bunch of random tech items, but... Oh, they're doing like charging station core stuff, right? Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look at it again. What do I want here?
What's up? Come on in.
LED. Do I want LED?
I
I get new stock every day. Maybe next time. The desert wind is warm perfume. Your strength is beautiful.
Is that better? Yes. Bulb drill. Oh yeah, I can do that now too. Maybe sharp corners. Or junk. I don't know. What if I did enchant? There's doom roll until enchant. Could be another snowflake. Yeah, feather's fine too. I don't know, we could have got an enchant. Pretty much every enchant is really valuable here. Cost plus work? Yeah. It just doesn't go through your insurance. So if you're trying to build towards your deductible, you might not want to use cost plus, even if it is a little cheaper. Or not your deductible, your yearly max. So they have the metronome. Big freeze. Looks like we win. Punched through the bonk. Let's go. Now, this is what I mean. Like, this is not a typical looking board on Dually, but it's strong. There's just so many ways to build these power drill setups that are different every time. Sometimes you can afford to play a random chrono barrier, sometimes you can't. Is bonk the best skill? Yes. I rolled a fast freeze item that immediately got a snowflake. Yeah, I mean, it's a 2-second freeze on 3 seconds. I wouldn't say that that's a high roll. Like, the fast freeze item alone probably didn't even go on the board. There's a chest in my chest. Rebirth. It's definitely not Rebirth anymore. I think there's a bunch of monster skills that are better than Rebirth now. It's probably like Bonk, the... when you slow charge an item skill. Juggler's probably up there. Hypnotic Drain's up there, though maybe Hypnotic Drain's situational enough that it shouldn't be.